Yo, 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 what is up, Bullish Nation? It's been a minute and an All-Star Weekend since we last spoke, but I got Josh on here with me who got famous over the weekend. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Josh, how's it going? How is that like for you?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing well. Got to watch a pretty good All-Star weekend. Also didn't have to watch too much Bulls basketball, which is always another bonus. And yeah, got a couple of tweets out, and then obviously they went pretty viral, which
They were
surprised me a
back to
little bit
back. They
because,
were like back to back
dude,
tweets.
I just posted first of the Zach Dunk one. Like, I just posted. I'm like, oh, okay, like my followers might see this. This is just a really cool dunk. And then 10 minutes later, I got Bleacher Report sending me a DM and all this crazy stuff. Like, oh, okay. So I
That's
mean, that was
crazy.
cool. And then obviously the Garpax one, which I mean, the whole fan base really needed to see that. That was pretty. That was just pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that's two separate topics, right? The Garpack stuff, Zach LaVine and his All-Star performance, and Kris Dunn's injury, and a whole lot of other things. But it's good to see our boy Josh get the recognition he deserves. But yeah, anyway, All-Star Weekend though. I mean, I guess we can talk about that a little bit. Like, how was it? Because All-Star the game was the most competitive game that I don't know. I've probably seen ever in an All Star game. Maybe back when Kobe used to play, there was some competitive fourth quarters, but this one was super fun. Like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, like the All-Star game was pretty. The format I wasn't too hyped on. Obviously, before the game started, I was pretty
Why
intrigued to
not?
see how it would. It just seemed too many rules for me, if you know what I mean. There was too many little like you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to get to this point. Like it just seemed like are we playing basketball or are we playing like some sort of weird ticky tacky
I mean,
Rick
what? Why
League or
is?
something?
But why are those rules any more complicated than 24-second shot clock and all the other rules? Like, you can't foul under 2 minutes and like whatever
It
other rules
just
that we add. Like, I don't understand. Like, just because it's, I don't know. It was something interesting. I was looking forward to the ending part for sure. The resetting the scores after each third quarter was fine because they were still keeping track of the total score the entire time, and it was just like a charity play, and they just wanted to hype the players up a little bit. I think there was so many different factors that combined into one game or one All-Star game this weekend. It was one, obviously, the Kobe situation. Everyone was just going hard for Kobe, so that was one factor. Two, it was like the last bucket wins. There was $300,000 on the line for charity. The kids from the charities were there, like cheering them on. And yeah, there were, like those different factors, three separate factors. I felt like really kept at least the last 2 minutes of each quarter, and then the entire fourth quarter is super interesting.
yeah, like the problem I had was just obviously I was really skeptical before it started, but once actually watching it, as you mentioned, the players were competitive. They're actually playing for something. Defense was being played. It went down to the wire. I think the fourth quarter was really good, and I think Nick Nurse said it that it was like a playoff atmosphere. And I mean, I agree. It was everything you want in an All-Star game, and the players were competing. Obviously, I wish it didn't end on Anthony Davis free throws. If maybe LeBron tried the cool game or something, it would have been pretty cool. But aside from that, I don't really have any complaints. I think Chicago put on a really good show in the All Star Weekend. And on a different note, what about the dunk contest? You think Aaron Gordon got robbed, or where do you sit on
So
that?
he didn't get robbed. So it was very clearly a mistake. Like for me, I didn't get mad at all because I was just like, wow, they just completely messed that up amongst themselves. They wanted to tie it up. They came out and said this afterwards, and that's kind of what it looked like too. Like by their reaction, they were kind of like, what? Like they didn't want Aaron Gordon to lose. They just wanted it to tie. Where I thought the real mess up was not giving Derek Jones Jr.'s last dunk a 50 because that's just a lot because
Yes,
that's just a lot easier
yes.
to just give both 50s than like try to coordinate two people giving nines and then three people giving nines and like so just the coordination was a lot more difficult when they didn't give him a 50, and then they were probably going to give it to Aaron Gordon anyway if they tied, just because it was like five straight 50s, and at that point if they did it the right way it would have been no six straight 50s, and then it would have been seven straight 50s I think by the last one. So they also didn't go with the rules either. Did you see that? Like you're normally supposed to have one dunk off and then another, I think, a second dunk off, but each one got 3 extra dunks, if I'm not right. So
Yeah, it was
so
it was an extra 2 or 3. Yeah, yeah.
no, well, they got extra 2, and then after that point, you need to give it to the judges, and then they went for an extra dunk off, which, you know, made it so there was this confusion. And then, so just because it was clearly miscommunication and it wasn't done on purpose, I was like, all right, like, it sucks, Aaron Gordon, but like, you, whatever, like, it happened. You know, you're not gonna go change it. NBA is not gonna change it. It's easy for me to accept really quickly because I'm not Aaron Gordon, but anyone other than Aaron Gordon, like, I don't understand why there's this like outrage among people.
Yeah. I think too, like how I viewed it was, I think Aaron Gordon had the better dunks, but Derek Jones had the best dunk. Oh, sorry, I should say it the other way.
Derek Jones had the best
Derek Jones
final. Aaron Gordon had the best
Yeah,
total
yeah,
dunk
yeah, yeah.
contest. The
And it was the same.
yeah.
It was the same as 2016. I think Aaron Gordon had the better dunk, but Zach LaVine in total had the better dunks. You know what I mean? Like he had more, whereas Gordon had that one crazy one where he jumped over the mascot. Like it could have gone either way, and I do
That's
think that
that's not really
Jones
what
should
it
have got a
is.
50.
I really do think it's because it's so dependent on the last dunk. Cause you can, cause if you had a 100 point scale every single time, like you'd rate the dunks a little bit differently. But after a certain point, it's just like a 50, right? You just get a 50. So there's no scale to 50s. It's like you can have LeBron on a max contract or you can have Gordon Hayward on a max contract. They're both max contracts, but Zach LaVine's dunk might be, you know, not as good as the other one. Or because Zach LaVine's like turnaround 360 off the side of the backboard, that was like LeBron max contract level 50. Derek Jones is off the backboard between the legs, and then the Vince Carter between the legs. Like Derek Jones had 2 absurd dunks. I thought Aaron Gordon had only one just completely absurd, like top 10 all time, top 5 maybe all time dunk. And Derek Jones had 2 of them. So in terms of peak,
But Jones is doing the same dunk. He did the same dunk like 3 times
no,
in a
no,
row.
no. So
He jumped over Chance the Rapper like what, twice, 3 times, 4 times?
no, I mean the same dunk is if you do the same dunk. They weren't the same dunk. They just all incorporated between the legs in some way. One was off the backboard over. No, one was off the backboard. One was over someone, which are 2 separate skills in terms of behind the back. Because catching it off the backboard and dunking, and then getting it from someone's hand while dunking is different. And then the third between the legs one was the Vince Carter against the grain 360, but instead of a windmill, he did between the legs. That one was absurd. Like that one plus the off the backboard between the legs were both like all time dunks. But it wasn't the same dunk. It was just the same. Like Aaron Gordon did a lot of 360s, and Derek Jones Jr. did a lot of between the legs. That's kind of what their niche was here.
I mean, like,
Joshua.
oh shoot, my mic's on mute. Sorry, as I was saying, like, like, how I view it is that both players really should have got a 50 on their last dunk. I think
Yeah, that's 100%. And then they would
Jones
have went
is
to
near free
judges.
throw. Exactly, exactly. Gordon's last dunk, Taco. I don't care that Taco is crouching. Like, you're still trying to jump over at least someone that's 7'2". Like, if he's crouching,
Taco
like,
crouching, he was just ducking his head, and Taco ducking his head is still like the tallest player in the league.
yeah, exactly. Like, it was still like a great dunk, and I think if you it would have been a lot more speculation if they did go to judge's decision because Dwayne Wade's going to vote for his boy Derek Jones, and then who knows what everybody else is going to do. You've got actors in there that don't even like I think the panel should have been. Like, I don't get it. You got Zach LaVine sitting out there, like, watching the dunks and stuff. Like, he should have been on the panel. Like, Dominique Wilkins should have been back on the panel. Like, MJ in MJ's house, like, he should have been on the panel. I don't know, dude. There should have been actual...
dunkers on
so?
the panel. I like that idea. I think that
They should do
should
that.
happen.
They're
Because
like
Scottie
actors,
Pippen, like, that's fine. I'm fine with Scottie Pippen being there.
Yep.
And then Dwayne Wade, like, I feel like Dwayne Wade could do it too.
Look, if
Why
Jones
not?
wasn't in, then Wade can do it. But the bias was a little heavy with Jones and Wade.
But Wade didn't give Gordon a 9 because he wanted Jones to win. I don't believe that at all. Like, I don't think that's what happened. I genuinely believe it was a miscommunication. But anyway, let's move on. Zach LaVine 3-point contest. Might as well stay on the All-Star game, All-Star Weekend topic. What'd you think of Zach LaVine's performance there?
The Bulls played? I forgot. I didn't realize the Bulls played. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, like, he started really hot and then basically gave those five back, which he made to start, and
Man.
then missed his money balls. I think he did really well, but the difference is he didn't make his money balls. And, like, the players that did so well in the first round, like Buddy Hield and all that, they made their money balls, which is obviously an extra 3 points. And the money ball concept's fine, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Like,
No, I'm all good. The 3 point contest, everything they've
it's
done
fine.
to it. No, everything they've done
Yeah.
to it is great. Because like for me, if you can do the same exact thing as before, but add a little bit more complexity and a little bit more ways to score and a little bit more strategy, but you're not really changing the crux of what's going on, then it's fine. And I think it's a lot better. The Moneyball rack is dope. For me, it's very interesting. I would always put it at the last part just because, like, if you have a bad run, like, you can make it up there and you're warmed up. Like, I would always go last, but, like, Bertans and Devontae Graham had their zones where Bertans put it on the right wing, Graham put it on head first, Devontae Graham, and then most of the people put it on the last rack, which I think makes most sense. And then adding the Mountain Dew or like the whatever 35 footers, however far those were, that just makes sense with today's NBA. Everyone's shooting out. Like I'd be surprised if they don't end up putting just a whole rack there at some point. Like just take out take out one of the racks or two of the racks and just put it way out there, or
You know what?
make one shot from half court, like stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. Like, I'm honestly surprised as well that Trey Young did so bad. Like, he missed both of his 3 point balls, his Mountain Dew balls. Like, Trey Young did horrible, and I honestly expected him to. I don't know if I expected him to win it, but like, he was bad.
My favorite thing was Dwayne Wade, and I forgot who the other player was on the announcing team, but they were just like, "Oh, yep, All Star. You're going out.
Yeah,
Chicago's
yeah,
a fun city. Have partied a little
yeah,
bit too
yeah,
much." Like every single time anyone did anything like bad, they were just like, "Oh,
yeah,
the party's got to him. First time All Star. Of course, that makes a lot of
yeah.
sense, and it makes a lot of sense." That actually might be what happened with Trey, but. Anything else like Rising Stars, All Star game? We talked about the All Star game. I mean, the game itself was dope. It started really slow. We kind of already talked about it, so I
Yes.
think we should. I think we should get to the Bulls, unless you have any final thoughts.
I mean, not really. The All-Star Weekend was like pretty good. Obviously, if there were more Bulls in there, that would be a lot better. But we're the Bulls, so I
Well,
mean, I'm not complaining. Though. It was a good weekend.
The Bulls were headline news during the All Star game, or All Star weekend, a lot
For the good reasons, huh?
for reasons, and it was a lot of on TV. Hearing Bulls
Yes.
fans or chanting Bulls fans or on Twitter, social
Yes.
media, like everywhere, just calling for hashtag fire Garpax. I'm not a fan of just the whole fire someone movement. Like, I think there should be a change up, but I'm not gonna go out and like try to root for someone to get fired. Like, if there's a change, I hope that change is for the better. But I prefer the people in the positions get better and change up what they're doing and make correct decisions over someone get fired. But I understand how people can get impatient and they just say a lot of different things. And you can get frustrated as a fan. It's just so out there, and we need to talk about it. Like, where, obviously, I know where you stand, but what do you think about what's going on?
Like, it's crazy that the All-Star Weekend like literally turned into shit on Bulls weekend.
The whole
All these
weekend.
chants, the whole weekend, the Bulls are under pressure. Like every other All-Star year, the owner of the team or the general manager or whoever, someone very high up, after the All-Star game will come out and do a speech and then pass the ball over to the next year, the All-Star game's in Indiana. So from the Bulls would come and pass the ball out to the Indiana owner or whatever and say like, "Happy All-Star Weekend" or something like that. Like this year, the Bulls didn't even do that. And the crazy part is they've done it. I think I saw a thing. And it was like for the last 9 years, either the executive or the owner of the team has came out at the end of the All-Star game and done a speech. And Garpax or whoever or Jerry Reinsdorf or Michael Reinsdorf did not do it because like they're going to get booed. I
Oh,
honestly think they didn't want
they
to handle the pressure. They were going to
they
get booed on their own court.
it's not even pressure. It's like why would you? I
Embarrassment.
like you're gonna go out there knowing that you're gonna get booed. Like that's just, I
Exactly.
think like if they did anything smart this weekend is not go out there because the Bulls fans are completely restless. And I'm not saying it's without reason. Like that's not what I'm implying at all. It's just not a good situation to put yourself in. Reinsdorf, and there are news. There's news being reported that there's some shakeup. It's still kind of vague in that Chicago vague way, where it's
Yes.
just like, oh,
Yes.
there's gonna be some reassignment of roles or like reassessment of empowerment. With like, I don't know what's going on exactly the words, but I know for a fact even the report isn't like, oh, there's gonna be a new candidate for GM or they're thinking about separating ways. It's still like reorganize and rearrange, distribute the power. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it was very vague, as you said, in terms of there wasn't really any direct message in that ESPN article in terms of like they weren't being very. It was kind of around like fitting around the line sort of thing. Like it wasn't actually fully in detail. It was just saying, if they're going to keep their jobs, Garth Foreman's going to be moved to scouting. Paxton's just going to be a little behind the scenes guy. But my problem is if you guys are going to actually change the whole team up or whatever you're going to do, add more analytics, add more scouts, like whatever. Like these two are still going to be in charge. I believe, especially Paxton. If he's still going to be like behind the scenes or whatever, like you and me both know, he's still going to be at least making some decisions. And I think if you're going to start fresh, you need to actually wipe them out. And I'm not saying, fire Yarpax or whatever, but if you want to start fresh and get this whole new reputation sorted as the Chicago Bulls, like it starts with like literally cleaning the house. Like you can't just have them still there in the background, like making some calls, but using the other dude as a spokesperson for you, like what they do with Boylan. He's obviously Paxton's spokesman, but like it just can't stay the same. Stay the same, I don't think.
It's just leadership structure and like organizational culture. Like it's 101. You can't have someone. I mean, I'm not gonna say can't. So there's always exceptions to the rules, but generally, if you have someone in a position of power and decision making for 16, 17 years now, and you keep them in the fold, but put someone else in power, that person is just, there's not gonna be a newness to it. Like there might, like, depending on how powerful the guy is and how much the new guy takes control of the situation and how good his leadership skills are. But it's such a tough position to put a president of basketball in, like trying to supplant the 17-year person in charge, and then still have full say or full authority, or have the players think there's something different going on, which is just as big of a issue, I would say. I mean, Zach LaVine was smirking when everyone was chanting Fireguard Packs
Yeah,
behind him.
he did not have a problem with it. He like I literally took the ESPN announcer to say like, it's Valentine's Day, like stop this. Like Zach was loving it. You could tell he did not care.
And then when you bring in a new management, like, are they gonna, stay with Boylan? Are they not? Like, what? I just don't know. I always, like I said, if that is what happens, I'm always in solution mode, right? Like, we are in a situation. What is the next step we can take to make it better? That's kind of how I want to view this. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes patterns just repeat themselves one too many times for me to, believe anything is going to happen before it actually does. So I'm just in wait and see mode with this news,
Exactly.
right?
I just want to see what happens right this off season. Like I'm gonna be keeping a very close eye and actually see if like what changes is gonna happen. Like if like oh my goodness, it just needs a whole shakeup, man. Like I don't even know the picture like well enough to be actually like know the situation, but it's just not good. Like clearly, if you have an All-Star weekend and you're getting booed at your own All-Star weekend, which is meant to showcase the team, the city, the fans, and the fans are booing the people that are organizing the event, like does that not say something?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation. What I will say is that we're gonna move on to the next topic, and But before that, I just want a quick plug mid podcast before we get onto like the Bulls on court, because all this news is for, next season. At the end of the season, we still got the rest of the season, and Kris Dunn is one of those things. The actual players that are going to play, possible returnees. But before we get to that, I'm going to do a couple plugs. One, Josh and Coach P have a podcast. Josh, talk about that for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Myself and Christian Pelodi, Finland basketball coach, NBA podcast twice a week. Come check it out. Court Speak NBA.
Court Speak NBA. Check that out. And then for me, the third edition of my Iconic Hoops newsletter just went out. Also on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be posting.
I caught that. That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to be posting different analytics tutorials, cap sheet tutorials, obviously, too. And just everything that I do, I have an idea to break it down into doable parts and exercises, kind of how I learn. So if you're interested at all in that, go check that one out. Both links are going to be under the description. And let's get back to the Chicago Bulls. Kris Dunn apparently could be out for the rest of the season. Josh, what do you think?
Well, that's a huge blow for the Bulls if in fact he is out for the season, because I wrote on this earlier today for on tab the injury, and like this isn't his first knee injury. He had a similar injury last season. He missed out on Kris Dunn missed out on 26 games last season when he had the exact same injury. So. And the Bulls have 27 games left to play, so like chances are, it's not going to be too good. Obviously, the Bulls would love to have him back, and he's been a big piece for them, considering how different his role's been from last season. And I think the Bulls' defense has been awful without them. They're giving up the most points. Their defensive rating is horrible. They're the worst defensive team since he's gone down. And in your newsletter, you pointed it out too. Like the Bulls' defense completely sucks at the moment. And obviously, you're going to get Wendell Carter Jr. back and Otto Porter Jr. back very soon. But like Kris Dunn still leaves a big hole in the Bulls' defense. And I think his presence will be missed no matter how long he's out for. And I also think too, this could affect potentially how long he's going to be, how much money he's going to be earning this free agency, whether it be from a Bulls offer or from another team. Just considering he hasn't played over 53 games in his career since his rookie season under Tibbs, where he only played 15 minutes. So. Like, he hasn't been able to stay on the court, which some of these injuries are just, like, something he can't control. Like, obviously last season, or was it the season before, he fell on his face, like, going up for a dunk, and he missed, 30 games. And then, obviously this season...
That was the start of this last season, right? I thought that was the start.
I think so.
Maybe the season before. Last season, he had an actual injury. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so and then obviously this season, Thad Young trying to draw a charge and then ran into Kris. So, these injuries aren't something he can control, but... At the end of the day, he hasn't been able to play over 60 games aside from his rookie year where he barely played. So it's not too good a look.
Yeah, so Wendell and Otto Porter should be coming back. Lowry is still a little bit further behind Carter and Porter. So we'll see when Lowry's going to come back. But I think the defensive flaws and struggles, yes, Dunn is a big part of that. I think him causing all the turnovers, getting all the steals, and pressuring is a huge part of what the defense that the Chicago Bulls are running, but Wendell is kind of the backbone, and he makes a lot of it function too. So I think bringing back Wendell, hopefully, the Bulls past 2 weeks.
And Gafford as well.
Gafford too, exactly. Yeah, because when you're going Cornette and Felicio, it's tough to do anything on defense. So
or offense, that matter.
Or offense. Cornette gives you a little bit, and then. Yeah, so getting Wendell back is going to be huge. Otto Porter, obviously, on the wing. And then you get Hutch and Porter in the same lineups. I think that would be really fun to see, too, if Porter comes back to what he was. Gafford again. So, yeah, it's exciting to see the team come back. Hopefully, they play up to the energy that they need to. They're at this point 2 games behind the Wizards. 5 games in 27 games is tough. One team needs to go on a 3-game losing streak, and then another 3-game losing streak while the Bulls just keep winning. It's going to be really difficult. But I feel like that's still what they're going to be shooting for. Another 3 to 4 game losing streak is probably game over for the Bulls this season, though.
Yes. And I think, too, the Bulls, if they can get these dudes back, I think, obviously, Otto Porter is going to be huge for them. And hopefully Lowry, because from what Zach said on ESPN the other night, he's been playing hurt all season, which is obviously not good at all. So hopefully when he's back, he's ready to go. And the Bulls' schedule is pretty favorable. They've got the Hornets, the Suns, the Wizards next 3 games. OKC at home. They should have won that last OKC game, but they legit blew like a 25-point lead, and then the Knicks. Very winnable games. Timberwolves, Cavaliers, Magic, Nets. Like if everybody's healthy, I mean, and as things actually start to click, I would like to see some W's because it's possible. But we're the Bulls.
Yeah, no, we're not getting our hopes up ever again.
Exactly.
We're gonna get happy.
We tried that one.
Yeah, we tried that one.
We
It
tried.
got us. It got us good. So we're definitely cautious until the W's are actually on the board. So the
Yeah.
Bulls, though, past two weeks, worst in the league in net rating. Worst in the league in defense too. I'm pretty sure, and it's just tough. They're losing by over 10 points per possession. This is all from cleaning the glass over the past 2 weeks, and it kind of coincides right along with Wendell Carter and Dunn being out of the lineup, and Gafford and everyone. So we'll see if they get back to it. Anything else? Like, what are you expecting? The win streaks hopefully come early with this easy schedule, because I think the schedule does get stronger toward the end, but seeds kind of get set and teams start resting a little bit more if their seed is set. So hopefully that kind of is something the Bulls can run into if they're in that sort of situation. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else really, unless I'm missing something.
Nah, I mean, like we've kind of talked about everything. I think it's just going to be big to see how Otto Porter slides back in and Wendell when they're both back. I'm really looking forward to seeing those two on the court. Obviously, we know Otto Porter isn't the most durable basketball player, but if the Bulls can get him on the court for the last 27, or if he misses the first week, like say 20 games or whatever, like that's great too. I think he can make this team click. The Bulls have really been missing that wing shooter, wing defender, and Otto's gonna be big for them. The Bulls have a lot of games coming up. They play like 15 games in March, so yeah, it's not going to get easy for them. The more bodies, hands on deck, the better. The bench is obviously going to be a lot more deep with Kobe, Denzel, Chandler, that young Gafford. Like, there's a lot of bodies the Bulls can throw out there. It's just about getting the chemistry to get to click, because obviously early this season, like, nothing clicked. The Bulls just looked awful out there. The shots weren't dropping. The defense struggled. And then they started to get it to click around, like, what, December or something. But, like, Otto was already out. Very few dudes injured. So now if everybody can get back, it's just about just continuing where you left off sort of thing. Just try to get some wins.
Let's end on this fun little stat fact here. The Bulls, for the past 2 years or 3 years, have improved their offensive rating by 1.1 points each year, but they rank 28th, 29th, and 28th this year. So
Wow.
yeah, so that just goes to show how
That is a
offense
fun fact.
how offense in the league is developing. It's pretty much aligned with the 1 point per possession lift that the Bulls have been seeing and ranking the same for the past 3 years. And by same, I mean bottom three in the league. Anyway, that's all I have. That's all Josh has. Again, check out Court Speak. Check out my newsletter. And check out us on Bullish Hoops. I'm going to be in Chicago if you're listening to this till the end. You're a real one, so hit me up at Iconic, spelled with my name, Ikaanic, or the Bullish Hoops Twitter account, either one. I'll be in Chicago for a whole week, leaving tomorrow morning, actually. I just packed up, getting this quick pod in
Damn.
before. Yeah, getting this quick
You
pod in
catching a
before.
Bulls game or?
I want to. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's gonna be really fun. Chicago for a week. Hit me up. Let's grab a beer or chat or watch a game at a bar or something is what I'm thinking right now. Anyway, peace out. Talk to you guys soon.